And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the extended delays, but we have returned here with the H.4.0.S Galactic Battle. We're still here in the group stage, the final game, the final series of the group stage. Of course, all the other groups, Group A, B, and D, have all wrapped up, and we are here to determine who is the final player to make it into the playoffs, which will be played right after this, right after the group stage does conclude. Again, this is a single day event. The group stage and the playoffs all crammed into one day, which is why we are here for the entire day. We are scheduled to be casting this event till 6 hours from now. Let's go. We are still in the early hours of the tournament, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of site Delta, we have the red Zerg player, the returning legend of StarCraft, the Polish Zerg. It is Nerchio. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Zerg player, the player who has since been competing, improving in the time that Nerchio has been gone. We have the blue Zerg player representing CSO Esports. It is Trifax. We go, our first mirror matchup of the stream. Our ZvZ is upon us, and yeah, we'll see how far we can go here. I mean, on paper, I want to say that Trifax is favored. Trifax, he has been competing, he's been improving quite a lot of the time. He even at times gives a laser a run for his money. Trifax is a terrifying Zerg player. I would say top 2 Zerg in Poland at the moment. I would place Trifax above Aristri and above Snockstar. So this is not an easy opponent here, as Nerchio, of course, a returning legend. What I will say, though, about this matchup, about ZvZ, is that it hasn't changed much since the retirement of Nerchio. There have been some certain builds that have popped up in his absence, like the 15-15, for example, 12-11s, for example. Another one is the +1 Carapace 2-base Ling Rochol as well. Like, there are builds that have been rising, but overall, kind of like the main core concept of ZvZ is still very much so the same. So I kind of want to say that Nerchio has a good chance here. A good chance to at least bring this to the ace match, maybe even take the series. It feels like typically mirror matchups are the best matchup of returning players. We see that a lot with the ex-military Korean players like Stats, Hero, Classic, Gumiho, DRG. When they return from the military, their mirror matchup is their best matchup because, again, you know, it does change the least over time, typically, traditionally. That's not the case with TVT anymore, but that's what we don't need to talk about TVT. It's fine. As the Overlord gets across the map, Nerchio does confirm the hatch gas pool opener of Trifax, does confirm the more economic start and the fact that the hatchery isn't any later than normal. So Nerchio back at home, going for his third base on time, on location. Very nicely timed third here from Nerchio. Trifax going for his own third base back at home. Meanwhile, Lings are moving out. Trifax, I imagine, going to try to scout his opponent. No, we do stop here in the center of the map. Nerchio is going to be the one to move out first. Trifax will confirm this with his own Lings. Does engage. Does at least attempt to, as Nerchio does commit. Going to be applying a bit of pressure here to this third. Nibbling away at that base. We have 6 more Lings behind this, by the way. Nerchio doubling down on Ling production. Meanwhile, Trifax going for a safety Bailey Nest, as to be expected. Bailey Nest is slightly delayed for Nerchio. Bear that in mind. There's going to be a window where one player has Bailings and the other does not. As Nerchio gets a lot of damage on. Oh, so far getting a lot of damage on to not just the base, but also to these Lings. Does trade up better. Does trade up better in the end, but we'll lose 1 Ling. Oh my god. There we go. We trade 1 for 1. Ling speed does kick in. And Nerchio, he does so much to this base. Gets another Ling as well. He's snibbling out of control. Gets a third Ling. Gets a third Ling in the end. And this space is going to be cancelled. That's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel. A massive blunder, a massive loss there for Trifax. As Nerchio is snibbling out of control, he dives into the mineral line. And the Bailey Nest is done. But where are the Bailings? Where are the Bailings for Trifax? He has no time. He has no time. And Nerchio is getting out of control. He is completely all in. He is breaking the natural base. The Lings are following the Queen. The drones are being pulled. And Nerchio, he has broken the natural. Bailings are on the way right outside, and no defensive Bailings whatsoever there for Trifax. Losing 1 Queen, losing another. Bailings, they waddle in. And we don't waste the shots. We waddle into the mineral line. We want some juicy connections here with the economy. And we do connect. 19 drones go down in total. And we can go for a kill on the base as well. Again, this is what I mentioned earlier, how The dynamic of ZvZ hasn't changed too much over the years, and Nerchio, he still has it. GG gets called. Nerchio takes game number 1. Let's go. GG, well played. Things very quickly escalating out of control there. Nerchio, very meticulous micro. It was very slight. Like there were these minute differences there, but Nerchio was slightly out trading Trifax in the Ling Wars, in the small Ling battles, in the 4v4 of the 4 Lings versus 4 Lings. And Nerchio very quickly killed 1, 2, and then 3 Lings. 3 Lings died very quickly. On top of that, Nerchio was also getting so much damage done to the hatchery. These are these slight wins and these slight advantages, but in a mirror matchup, they mean the world. And Nerchio very quickly just snowballed out of control, killed the 3rd, and even if there was a cancel, even if that base was canceled, I'm sure Nerchio still would have broken through, still would have taken control of the natural base, and would have snowballed from there. So again, losing too many Lings too early on can just be the death of you in ZvZ. GG. GG, well played. Nerchio does take a 1-0 lead. Will we go all the way? Will we go the distance? Will we go all the way to game? Or will we get a 2-0 here? Or can Trifax fight back? Again, in general, as we do have our lobby being set up, in general, I would favor Trifax. I still favor Trifax when it comes to ZVT and ZVP. And here in ZvZ as well, I want to favor him. But before we can get into a solid economy, before we can get into Roach v Roach, you have to get through the Ling Bane of Nerchio. Let's go. Let us go. As you can hear the beeps, the map has been chosen, and we're going to be loading in Dalkione. Here we go. A much larger map in the map pool, to be fair. Longer rush distance and a lot of bases to be taken, but there's also the gold base as well. And is anyone feeling fancy enough to rush into the gold, which we have seen in ZvZs in the past? In recent times, actually. Is definitely something you can try to rush into here and try to get away with. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkion, we have our blue Zerga player representing CSO Esports. Down in the series, looking to fight back, looking to force that ace match. It is Trifax. And spawning. Oh, going for a 50, going for the 15-15, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player. Leading the series 1-0, the returning legend of StarCraft. It is Nerchio. And this is a build that I did bring up when it comes to more modern openers in ZvZ, and that is the 15-15. Over the past year of StarCraft, this has kind of risen in popularity. I'm sure Nerchio is unaware of it, but it is a faster hatchery into a faster spawning pool, into delayed gases, in a way, very safe way to open up, just because it does give you access to faster queens. Typically, though, because the gases are so late with this opener, we have seen some delayed and even skipped link speed, and this can lead into 2-base Roach. 2-base Roach is very much so a build available here to Trifax off of the back of this. It could even be 2-base Muta, 2-base play in general. Behind this, Nerchio going for a standard hatch gas pool. Now, as these openers do collide with each other, Nerchio will have faster link speed, faster gas income in general as well, and we'll see if Nerchio can make use of that. I did mention before that the rush distance by ground is longer, and Trifax may decide to play 2-base. If that's the case, then link speed will not be a factor, and it'll actually be a wasted upgrade from Nerchio if he does invest, if he does commit. It all depends on how Trifax wants to play this out. Gas now being taken, again, very delayed. You can see Nerchio starting up link speed, and you can see Trifax still just getting his first handfuls of gas. So because of this, because Trifax is going to be lacking map control, that is why we typically wall off here on 2 bases, and why we typically play 2-base Roach from this position. Meanwhile, Nerchio back at home is droning, making a handful of lings, going to be going for some scouting information. And again, link speed is on the horizon. So he does move out. Trifax back at home, still just building up. Nerchio should be working on his third, and there you go, third base is on the way. That's the other advantage here of Nerchio, is that he has map control with link speed, and he's getting into a faster third. Meanwhile, Trifax going 2-base lair. It is 2-base play. We should be looking to wall off this natural and deny the scout of Nerchio. Links have arrived. We confirm the lack of third base. Queens are revealed. The goal here is again to try to keep Nerchio in the dark. Ooh, as we do slip in. The wall was a little bit too late, and Nerchio, he does slip into the main base. We get a full scout. We do confirm the lair. We are aware of the 2-base play. Nerchio behind this did make a wave of lings, but not the most impactful of lings, unfortunately, as we are being cleaned up. Nerchio cancels the Bailey Nest. Big move here. He had a Bailey Nest on the way. Upon realizing that he doesn't need it, upon realizing that there is no link speed on the way, we don't need a Bailey Nest. It'll be a waste of resources. We cancel. Lings are kept in the main. Lings poking at the front wall. And we're going to try and force our way through. We're forcing a secondary wall behind this. Again, trying to force wasted resources out of Trifax. The Lings are cleaned up in the main. And behind this, Nerchio going to very fast plus on range. We're getting into Roach v Roach. And so far, a really good read out of Nerchio. So Nerchio, he has map control. He has a faster third base. Nerchio, as a result, has better larva available to him and should be able to catch back up in the economy overall. Bearing in mind that Nerchio wasted larva spent on lings, which is why Trifax has a higher drone count. Because he hasn't made any lings whatsoever. Just pure drone production. Now, these things are still alive for Nerchio, so we're going to be able to get a full-up scout. We do get eyes on all 4 gases. This looks like it could even be muta play, but we have Roach speed on the way. Roach speed in production. And this is the reason why Nerchio is still, like, just prevalently or just vigorously scouting here, is because he needs to know whether or not there is a Spire. Because Spire play is still on the table. Ling goes down. Upgrades are committed, though. We are, of course, confirming that upgrades are still on the way. So really good scouting here by Nerchio, just making sure that we still have plus on range and Roach speed in production. But there it is. Once the Lings went down, there's the Spire, there's the Mutas. This is what Nerchio was looking for, and this is why this is so late as well, because Trifax could not throw it down until the Lings were cleaned up. Now, Trifax has a choice. Yep. Okay, we finished Roach speed. I was going to say we could cancel. We could cancel these upgrades, retain the gas, and invest into mutas. But we commit to the upgrades, which means this Spire play, these mutas, will only be enough for map control. This should only be, I want to say, like 6 mutas at most, maybe 7 mutas, just to shut down overlords, just to threaten bases, while we still commit to Roaches on the ground. Meanwhile, Nerchio has the worker lead. Remember, he has the third base up and running. Third base still not up here for Trifax. Roaches have been revealed here, trying to force an overreaction. That's 17 Roaches on the way for Nerchio. He throws out a Spine Crawler. Ooh, he gets faked out. He gets faked out here. Trifax, he showed these Roaches to the Overlords to try to force an overreaction, and he did. Trifax is droning, by the way. He's happily droning, and Nerchio just invested into a massive army instead of droning up even further. He had the opportunity to make workers and take an even stronger lead. Overseer Scout coming in. Speaking of, we need an Overseer Scout as well, and we do get eyes. We got eyes on the Spire, but we force a cancel. Oh my god. Nerchio. He comes in, gets eyes on it, forces the cancel as well. Lings, they do slip in between the bases. Drones are going down. We confirm that there's droning going on, and we will get eyes on the lack of Spire. We get eyes on the cancel. Big scout here. Big run by from Nerchio, forcing so much lost mining time. And 5, almost 6 workers go down. Again, these Lings were made earlier, and we weren't able to make use of them. Now we are, as we pick off another drone here at the Back, Nerchio. You're supposed to be retired, Back. What are you doing? He wants the drone. He gets it. He gets 7 workers in total. Behind this, we're amassing a Roach army. Nerchio should be aware that he's ahead. He's dealt a lot of damage. Nerchio has a worker lead. He doesn't have to push. He's forcing Trifax all in. As I say that, Trifax isn't going all in. Trifax is re-droning, resaturating, and taking the gold. That is his response. Nerchio hasn't seen it. Now, this is where I'm a little bit concerned. Nerchio, I believe in the previous series, he didn't actually veto. I don't know if Nerchio actually is aware of the current map pool and certain features of the map. I don't know if he's aware there's a gold base here. So this may go unscouted. Meanwhile, Trifax doubling down on Burrow and Tunneling Claws. is getting into Bard Roach harass, building up his army, and now he's saturating the gold base. He is catching up here thanks to the gold. Nerchio throws down a Hydra, getting ready for a Hydra Lurker transition. And again, the longer this goes on, the more Trifax can recover. Right now, Nerchio has a massive lead. He's up in supply, he's up in economy. He needs to push, but you can see here, he's just faking out a push. We have 11 more Roaches on the way. It looks like we're waiting for 2-2. Okay, this isn't too bad. We're waiting for 2-2 upgrades to finish up here for Nerchio before moving out. But again, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Trifax. As this gold so far is just unimpeded. And we can see Trifax closing the gap. He was behind 20, 30 army supply, and now he's catching up. He's slowly catching up here. Burrow is done. Tunneling Claws is done, which means now we can harass. Meanwhile, at least Nerchio wasn't resting on his laurels. At least he was teching. So Nerchio, he was still building up towards Hydras. And again, this should be for Lurker tech. Meanwhile, oh, Bird Roaches, they are sneaking into the bases here. Overseers are on the way. It looks like Nerchio may have just scattered this. And Roaches, some of them are being caught out. Main army's going to be clashing at the same time, though. Bird Roaches in the main are in the main base. Nerchio taking a great fight here. Does take a better fight, does get a better engage overall. But here we go. The Roaches are going for the mineral line. They're going for the economy. Nerchio is maxed out. And he's in position. Oh my, he left an army in position. He was aware of the potential for Tunneling Claw Roaches. He does deflect them. Again, good foresight there from Nerchio. Good positioning. Shuts down the Bird Roaches. Focusing on his main push. Again, still working on those Hydra upgrades. I believe he has range. I believe he doesn't have Hydra speed. And likewise, hasn't thrown down the Lurker Den yet either. We're still in Roach v Roach. Good target firing there out of Nerchio. Get one of the Ravagers. Pushing in. At the same time, behind this, we have Tunneling Claw Roach harass, but we are in position. We do deflect it. There's still not quite anything in the main either. Nerchio, he can focus on his push. He can focus on his push, busting his way through the army. Biles, they will be grazing the army of Nerchio. But he gets a better engage, even coming in from behind. As I say that, we have the defender's advantage. Trifax is amassing a Roach army, and again, this goal base is paying off dividends here. Yeah, Nerchio, he's going to be forced back, especially with this wave of reinforcements. Nerchio being forced back again. The advantage that he once had isn't really there anymore. We're even on upgrades. Plus 2 is on the way for Nerchio. That can help a little bit, but it's not the most impactful upgrade. And again, tech-wise, I was assuming that we would be taking up even further, but we haven't. There's only a handful of Hydras here, and they help when it comes to dealing with Overlords. But again, I do think that this would have been a good opportunity to invest even further, whether it's Lurker tech or Hive tech for Vipers. It just wasn't really gotten into, wasn't really invested into. Oh, we do shoot first. Ooh, Trifax bleeding out a lot of Roaches here. Oh my god. A lot of Roaches do go down. He's also doesn't have any Ravagers. This is dangerous here. Trifax with a purely Roach army. Being forced back, was a little bit too cavalier with his movement. Does come in for a surround. But who surrounds who? Because here come the reinforcements of Nerchio also from behind. Ravagers are being pounced upon. But Nerchio, he collapses on the army. Yeah, he takes a better trade. It takes a better engage. And now he gets eyes on the gold. He's now aware, and he will shut it down. This is the downside of this gold base, is it's that much more exposed. Yes, it has been keeping Trifax in this, but he will lose it. And upon losing it, he's going to be in quite a bit of trouble. He has taken a backup fourth, though. It is saturated. Nerchio knows that he cannot quite give up this position, but he's being overwhelmed. Nerchio being forced back. A lot of his army is busy cleaning the base, not fighting the army. But when he gets surrounded, Nerchio, there's no way out. This army is going to be completely cleaned up. The Ravagers go down, but Nerchio, he's committed. He kills one base and he's going for another. And he's going to force Trifax to turn around. He's turning around. He's coming back home. And Nerchio, he has time to rebuild. I'm loving the burrow. The drones are safe. The drones, they do burrow underneath the army. But the base goes down. The base does go down. Oh, the move commit. Nerchio bleeding out some of these Roaches. The main army pushing through the left-hand side. Trifax being pulled apart. He did spend too many Roaches here on the right-hand side. Yeah, he had a hard time splitting up his army, but he does have the concave, does have the high ground. Nerchio with the slightly better upgrades does force his way in. Oh, and Nerchio will not break through. He's got a couple more reinforcements, but alas, Trifax with the defender's advantage, he should be able to force this back. He's coming in from behind, cutting off the reinforcements of Nerchio. Meanwhile, Nerchio, he commits. He just stutter steps forward, gets a queen, gets the hell out of here. He does have to get out of here. Overseer's rallied. Nerchio pulling back. He's on 4 bases, now taking a 5th base here towards the top left. And Trifax is stuck on 3 bases instead. 3 bases remaining here for Trifax. He's falling further and further behind. He saved a lot of workers, but he also lost a lot of workers. He's down in workers, down in army. Tries to go for some Tunneling Claw Roaches, but he gets caught out as well. And Nerchio racing back home. Chasing that one roach. Will eventually catch up. And now we can focus on the main push. Nerchio, he has maxed out. He's at 200 supply. Oh, and Trifax, he's still trying to recover. Again, he did well when it came to this gold. Like, this gold did allow him to catch back up despite the rough opener where Nerchio was able to gain a lot of map control with his Ling harass, with his scouting, with his movement. Trifax was clawing his way back in, but now he has lost that advantage. Now this gold base is just allowing him to tread water here as Nerchio outpositions. Rotates around, gets an Overlord. No Ravagers, which is a little bit concerning for Nerchio. This is an awkward angle for Trifax to fight. At the same time, he's going to be harassing across the map, but he gets a queen, not much else. And Nerchio, he snipes the gold. He kept the army busy. Gets a gold base. And is pushing towards the would-be 4th. Nerchio does take some extra hits here, but again, Nerchio, this army is just designed to distract. Just to distract while he goes for economic damage behind this. We get 3 workers. Main armies are clashing. Nerchio pulling back. It looks like he wants to check for another base, and he will confirm the lack of ninja base. So again, good scouting here from Nerchio, just making sure he actually is ahead. Making sure there's nothing crazy going on. Oh, can he snipe the base? As he does engage with the army. Oh, and he will slip away. Trifax trying to cut him off. Does pick off a couple of roaches. Likewise, Tunneling Claw Roaches across the map. They do get a couple of drone kills. 4 drones do go down. And there it is. This is what we've been waiting for. The Lunkers. The Lurker Den is finally on the way for Nerchio. Again, Roach Ravager here can trade better. Nerchio respecting it quite a lot. Has to back off. But really was distracting the army. Once again, Nerchio's been so good at this, where he just, even if he's been fighting a lot where he has a supply deficit when it comes to these engages, but he commits just enough to distract the army and to get away with this run by. Nerchio, he doesn't even have Tunneling Claws, doesn't even have Burrow. It doesn't matter. He's just able to pull off these run-bys anyway. Once again, you can see Nerchio splitting up an army. Gets a better concave. A much better concave here for Nerchio. Forces back the army. And as he pulls back to the gold. Another run-by, but Nerchio, he keeps supply back at home to defend. Nerchio, he always leaves something back at home to deal with this. To deal with these counterattacks. And that was a kill, not a cancel on the hatchery. Another Overlord falls. Oh, and look at all these juicy Overlords. Oh god, they're so exposed. Trifax, he has to respond. Oh, and Nerchio, he's had enough defending. Now it's time to attack. Now it's time to collapse on this position. From multiple angles. And again, he's up 40 supply. 40 army supply. So second rough engage towards the left. But again, now he can collapse on this position. From the front, from behind, the Miles. They do connect to some of these Hydras, but we get the force around. The drones, the boys are being pulled. They have to be. And Nerchio, he may be a retired old man, but man, he still got it. GG gets called. Nerchio, he will take the 2-0, advancing out second in Group C. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Nerchio for winning it all here, for taking the series 2-0 and advancing on into the playoffs. Oh my god. Very unexpected. I still would favor Trifax. Like I still would favor Trifax overall. I still think that Trifax's ZVT and ZVP is superior, but here in the mirror matchup, Nerchio was very much so in control. And I was very impressed. It wasn't just that Nerchio cheesed. He did cheese in game one. Remember, game one, he link flooded. And he was able to flex his superior link control. His link micro was impressive from Nerchio. It was very impressive. Here in game number two, he flexed not just his micro, but his game knowledge and his builds as well, his scouting, his reacting as well. He was able to multiple times slip in some links just for the purposes of scouting, and on top of that was able to get some economic damage done as well. He was able to rescout, confirm the Spire, force a cancel on the Spire, was able to tech up into Hydras towards Lurkers towards the end of the game, had the wherewithal to be aware of the tunneling claw of Roaches, and have units in position to defend against them. Really good stuff. Really solid play there out of Nerchio. Very impressed. Very impressed. GG, well played. Nerchio does advance on, and with that, we have our group stage complete. It is now done. It has concluded. We had 16 players rise up, and only 8 players make it into the playoffs. And the bracket is final. The bracket for the playoffs is final. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Let's quickly go over it here on stream. We have from the top, we have a rematch. A rematch. A Laser versus Bappy in the first round. That is a rematch of a previous House Open Cup, so do look forward to that. We have followed by Nerchio versus Geralt. Nerchio now up against arguably the best Protoss player in Poland. Geralt is a terrifying Protoss. We've seen Geralt go toe-to-toe with Spirit. We've seen him bring down a laser. Geralt is a very tough first-round match for Nerchio. Best of luck. Once again, I want to favor Nerchio's opponent. I want to favor Geralt, but I also hope that Nerchio can show some good games for the fans. I hope that he can have a good performance there against him. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Spirit versus Aristri in a TvZ. Aristri, not Trifax, does advance on, and Aristri has been achieving quite a lot himself. We'll see how well he can perform. Likewise, we have Mishu versus Cristiano in the bottom of the bracket. We have our age-confirmed players. We have yet to cast and feature Geralt and Cristiano outside of the FFA, so I look forward to eventually sinking my teeth into our 2 players. And when it comes to these matchups, there are 2 that really speak to me. One is Nerchio for Geralt. Sorry, Nerchio versus Geralt. Obviously for the narrative and because I want to see how Nerchio performs. In the brain, though, I do believe it's going to be a little bit one-sided in favor of Geralt, but the heart wants to believe that it could be a competitive match. Meanwhile, both, but the body wants Bappy versus the Laser. That looks like so much fun as well. Like I'm really looking at those 2 series the most. I do think that Cristiano is heavily favored against Mishu and Spirit is favored against Aristri. I do think there's less potential for back and forth in those matchups, but we'll see. We have yet to confirm what series we are casting first. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we're going to be figuring out what we want to cast, what we want to cover, and where we're going. See you soon.